Trying to avoid the sun glare, but here's a couple fish. This is so shallow, only the little ones are coming. There's a few nicer ones in there. I haven't been swimming this year yet. These guys tend to leave you alone, but the way they rush up to me whenever they see me, I hope it doesn't take them long to learn that they don't get food from me when I'm in the water. Flora likes to lay in the shade. Isn't that right, Flora? Persimmon, swamp hydrangea, rose of Sharon, sugar baby watermelon, and everything is carrying on like it was last week, but it's that little bit bigger. It's May 2nd. Jack. Well, anyway, this is all the same, only these berries are turning red and they're still small. This is that prime Jan. Don't know what to think of them. They're the berry that fruits twice a year, the blackberry. But they're small in this soil. The ones on the other side of the pond seem bigger. The main berry grove is that whole slope there, which has the three kinds, the whole front row of Navajo thornless and then the mixed prime Jan and Kiowa. Where the Kiowa here are doing better. They're starting to get size, but you see the beads are still small. That's going to get much, much bigger before it ripens. See that prime Jan, that one's turning red too. Maybe it's just a small berry. I didn't really get anything from them last year. The birds got them all because they were smaller. I remember them being more than that though. It's just glorious. May 2nd. Couldn't ask for a nicer day. One thing you may notice in watching these videos is constant bird song. Now that I'm stopping picking the asparagus, you see they're all getting fenced. I have a big grove of these bamboo. It's really quite an amazing sight. It's a clumping bamboo, so it grows in this giant puff, just big mass, all just almost touching, and then it forms a big canopy. But I get unlimited bamboo from it. See, I have 4 asparagus beds, and they're all getting staked like that because my asparagus never stands up well. By the way, these asparagus were all salvaged from someone's yard when they were selling their house, and the asparagus bed had gone totally to weeds. Same with these Navajo. These were also in their garden, and the weeds had taken them to the point they were strangled. But I dug them all up and moved them here, and they're very happy now that I keep the weeds off them, and they don't get much fertilizer and they don't get pesticides, but they get care and they seem to really appreciate it. Look at these prime Jan on this side. You see how much bigger they are? More sun, I suppose. these Kiowa, they're not doing extremely well, but they're young yet. They will get big. It's kind of nice having my berries so dispersed. First will come the prime Jan, and then I think the Kiowa and the Navajo are going to be in the similar phase, but they take a long time. They flower over, I suppose I get a month of picking from these. I thought we'd look at the grapes. They're all over this little building now on the backside there. Not as far along over here because the sun, you see the woods back there and then this giant thicket here. But I think they'll make grapes. They will just be behind a little bit the ones here on the corner, who are still mostly in shade. And now let's look at the ones on the front of the building. You see, they've finally formed their canopy. And they're getting bigger. And numbers of them. The birds love these grapes. They're just waiting. Blueberries, look. That one is almost ready. The creatures are already eating these ones. A neighbor of mine said I can go and pick 30 gallons of blueberries from his organic grove because he produces more than he can use and they end up just falling on the ground. So I will be definitely canning up and freezing a lot of blueberries along with my blackberries. Well, separate jars, but be preserving. We do like our berries because I am so fond of my desserts. This is that Kiowa. Let's move down. This is the prime Jan. You see, they're coming along. Now the prime Jan is twice a year, so I'll get a fall crop too. But the Kiowa, they're going to get huge. And there's a lot of them. And blackberries are so easy to care for. As soon as these are fruited, I will put on gloves and cut out all of this. Is called the floricane, the one that has the berries. I'll cut it at the bottom and just snatch it out. And then this year's primocanes, these are the ones that come up this year that do not fruit. See how soft they are, like a soft-shelled crab. They're only just emerged and their thorns are still soft. This is the one that will fruit next year. And you leave them, and when this one fruit next year, when the fruit's picked, you just cut it at the bottom and snatch it out and leave the ones that replace it. And all you do is tie them up and keep them trimmed, and really they don't need much. Very minimal pests. I haven't ever had pests bother them to an unacceptable level. Never had to use pesticides. Well, of course I don't, being organic, but I would if my whole crop was threatened.